Oh, this is gonna be a good one. We got some interesting stuff today, and we got some good participation and feedback on the demo last time. So we're gonna, because I hate myself and I'm gonna break the rules of what you should do live. We're gonna do another live demo today. We have another one, which I think will be interesting. Let's hope I can actually, switch my computer around and get the recording in and share the right screen and not divulge any personal information, all this kinds of good stuff. But it's good to see everybody. So we got one more minute. Give it one more minute. We got 34 people in here. We usually get a bunch more as it shows up, usually around the 10-minute mark. I like to give people a little bit of time. But listen, we all know nobody's here like champing at the bit to do cybersecurity stuff, right? So last question, last participation giveaway question. Give me a note as to why you came today, just in the chat. And this is the one chat, if you've been to our fundamentals training, I'm not going to let you say I was made to, because nobody makes you come to these in theory. So tell me why you're here in chat. You have 1 minute to type it before I start launching into very interesting, thanks, Rogers, cybersecurity stuff. Scott, I appreciate that. That's the best one. Thank you. Giselle, I got some stuff on that. I got some good stuff on that. Thanks, Paul. Had a gap in my meeting. Thanks, Kevin. Angela, I do see you every time, and I really appreciate you so much. Cassie, that was very kind of you. Yo, I am fighting a little bit of a headache today, so if my speech is a little odd, that's the Excedrin talking, so forgive me if that's the case. Okay, let's go ahead and do this thing, everybody. Here's your cybersecurity briefing. Oh, John, I got those too. Cybersecurity briefing for 2026 Q1. Here we go. So, for those of you that do not know who I am, my name is Steve Hicks. I am the head of security over here at Endsight. I have been in IT for a long time. High school was not terribly fun for me, but it worked better afterward, right? So I've been a nerd for a long time. I love what I do, everybody. If you can't tell, this is not made up. This is not an act. This is something I love, and I love connecting with y'all on these things. We got a lot of great questions that were submitted today, so I do encourage you to stick around for Q&A. We have quite a few, and I'm sure there will be more submitted as we go. So please, as you see this, submit questions or ask me to clarify things, or whatever happens. I'm watching chat. We are watching Q&A. I do have a section for Q&A, but if I see something that is relevant in the moment, I will stop and answer it. As a note, we have my new quote up here. We live in the darkness so you don't have to. For product testing that, if that sounds dumb, tell me. I'd like to know. For those of you who don't know who we are at Endsight, we are a technology company, right? So we are a support organization, although we do manage IT at the bottom and cybersecurity clearly, because that's why you're here. We do also have some really new, interesting products in AI and automation. I know some of you here are doing that, where we're connecting data in different silos for everybody, which is really, really awesome. And we do have a lot of cool reporting. Those two teams are very, very talented. Please do not tell them I said that, because we have rivalries, but they are, in fact, quite good. And our purpose at Endsight is to help everybody else thrive, right? We are a values-driven organization. And to be fair, everybody, it's actually true. I have spoken with the CEO and the president quite a bit, and they really do ascribe to these values. We've won Best Places to Work a lot, last 2 or 3 years in a row. And the most important part of this particular slide is that middle one, the Right of Boom 2025 Capture the Flag second place. That a capture the flag competition in cybersecurity is where your team tries to find hidden text in places hackers would use to get into systems, right? It tests your knowledge of ingress and egress portions of systems. Last year in 2025, we went to this is the biggest MSP security conference in the world. It's in February every year, which is why I'm talking about it right now. And out of the 86 MSPs that took part, we took second place, barely. The reason I'm telling you this is it's next week. So we may have some more fun stuff to talk about how we did this year. So we're pretty happy about that. So I think some of my team is on this call, and good luck, you guys. We believe in you. For those of you who've only been here once or have seen this slide a million times, here's what this office hours actually is, right? So this is going to be high level strategy. I'm not doing tech support here. I have had people ask me for very specific technical questions. We usually go and take those offline. Don't hesitate to ask. I clearly love engineering, and my boss doesn't let me do engineering as much anymore because, manage your stuff. But this is going to be high level strategy. This is for liability holders of the organization. So if you are not one of the owners or you're not the C-suite, you're still very much welcome here. But a lot of this is going to be international and national trending where the bad guys are spending their money rather than don't give the babysitter your Wi-Fi password. We do have a training on that. It does happen every month. It is eligible for CLE credit, an hour of credit for cybersecurity and technology if you're an attorney. And I would recommend you join that, but that's not this training. So we are not doing tactical, user-focused stuff here. So thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Paul, wish us good luck for number 1. So our agenda today, which is kind of aggressive. First, we're going to talk about HIBP, which I will elongate that acronym on the next slide. Then we're going to do talk about AI espionage, malicious tools, a specific example of an AI attack where the attackers literally used AI to do almost everything. The potential for AI in an account that's been compromised, and some emerging threats. In fact, if you look at chat right now, Joseph Rogers is demonstrating our emerging threats of having applications randomly show up to calls. So we have AI recording this call, and that's something we're going to talk about here. And then to that end, how to restrict those applications and what we intend to do for them, summary, and a bunch of Q&A today. So assuming that's okay with everybody, and even if it isn't, we're going to get started. So the very first thing we're talking about is, have I been pwned? And this is one of those hacker leet speak things that if you grew up like me, you totally understand the language. And if you didn't, it sounds silly, like scared spider and media bricks and other weird things we use to talk about breaches. But have I been pwned is effectively one of your gateways into the dark web in a very small slice. Have I been pwned is a publicly searchable database of email addresses that have been previously compromised. Please give me a 3 in chat if you already knew about this. I will wait a minute. Not as many as I thought. That's awesome. James and James, good to see you. D'Amelia, appreciate that. Kendra, cool. So this is effectively a place you can search to see if your email address has been compromised, right? And what it is a list of all of the massive data breaches that have happened with email addresses across the world. Now, what's important to note about this is if you were to use your own email address to set up something like Dropbox or Salesforce or even a corporate LinkedIn, and they were compromised, your email address would show up on this list, your work email address, whichever one you used to sign up for it. That does not mean your corporate network was compromised. It means somebody gave that data away in a breach. Now, this is really important to know because I know there's already somebody on this call who's going to the site and checking their email, and I'm going to do it live here in a second. So stick with me on that. I'm going to use my own. But what you should know is this is basically one of those tools the good guys use that the bad guys can use to determine email addresses and breaches and stuff like that. But it's a great way to be introduced to compromises. The only caveat that's really important here is the dark web is an archive of lots of things. Most of them are not scrupulous. And if somebody asks me, Steve, how do I tell if my information's out on the dark web? And some of you have heard this before. Your information's on the dark web, for sure. And it's for sale for about $30, for sure, in lots of different groups, right? Whether or not you find it on this site, it's out there for other reasons. And it's important to note that for mostly sales and fear-mongering tactics, and I don't really like those approaches, right? I'm security, right? Security occasionally has to be truthful and say, it's scary out there, and you just got breached. Now you need to spend money to not get breached again. Those things are true. But what I don't like is when somebody provides a dark web report with zero context to a client and goes, look, all your stuff's out there. How do you know you're safe? Listen, everybody, that's like asking if there's oil in your car, right? Your stuff's out there. It is out there. And there's frequently nothing corporate IT or corporate security can do anything. Heidi, me too, but stick with me on this. uh, there's typically nothing you can do about having your stuff on the dark web, and it's out there for everything. Remember, just like there's only two kinds of concrete: concrete that has cracked and concrete that will crack. There's two kinds of data: data that's on the dark web and data that's definitely also on the dark web, right? Your stuff's out there. So if anybody comes to you and says, oh my gosh, look at all this data we found on the dark web, they're being disingenuous. That's a scare tactic. And I'm not trying to scare you here. I want you to know that this exists and how to look it up, but I want you to know that it doesn't necessarily mean your corporate network's attacked. We get this commonly where someone will come into one of our clients and say, Steve, uh, uh, you're breached. Look at all these things. And they come back to us and they go, what's going on here? And we go, it's everywhere. Everybody's stuff's on the dark web, right? That's why I asked if your credit card number was compromised in the beginning of this, if you know somebody, because it happens. Some examples is of recent breaches. This is fun. You guys are going to really like this. Synthient is a data broker. They were just recently breached for 1.96 billion accounts, and it was put on Have I Been Pwned, right? Look, I'm sure there's more than 1.96 billion unique email addresses in the world, but that's a lot of them. That's a lot of them, and it's scary, right? Another good example, much smaller, Wired. Give me a 4 if you know what Wired is. If you guys have heard of Wired, the magazine. Thanks, Nate. That's cheating, though. Appreciate that. So Wired was breached, right? Now, listen, I don't expect many people here have given like their social security number, billing address, and mother's maiden name to Wired, but still, this is a data broker, right? Give me a 5 if you were caught in the Target breach, by the way. Target was on here as well. If I was to search for it, I was caught in the Target breach because I have shopped at Target before. Cool, we got a couple. Thank you. Appreciate that. Um, give me a 6 if you know who Allianz is. Yeah, that's an insurance broker. That's scary, right? Those are the people that really should know how to keep you safe. And I've gone over it, but the dark web, I get more questions about the dark web than anything else except phishing. And the truth is, just like the internet, the dark web is an archive, right? So give me a 7 in chat if you are anywhere near California and you knew about the UC Davis picture of the officer pepper spraying seated protesters that they tried to remove off the internet. Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate that. So just to kind of give everybody a little bit of a heads up on that, there was effectively a sit-in protest at one of the universities in California, and one of the officers was photographed multiple times just casually hosing down seated protesters with bear mace. And UC Davis spent lots of time and lots of money to try to get that off the internet. But by the amount of people that have heard of it, you can tell they failed. That's because the internet and the dark web is an archive. It is, by its nature, that's where stuff is. So when I do the demo I'm about to do, you just got to know that effectively this stuff is out there kind of forever. So let's see if I can do this thing. Give me an 8 in chat if you see my screen, my Have I Been Pwned screen. I lost chat. There we go. Thanks all. Okay, so here's how we do this thing. I'm going to search myself. By the way, in case you wanted to know the etymology, pwned, P-W-N-E-D right here. It's just hacker speak for owned. Have I been taken, effectively, is what that is. So if I do me, hopefully it's the same. Okay, good. This is what I tested yesterday. So whew, that's good. So there is a data breach with my address. Right? And I want you to know, I don't know who Demand Science is. I'm sure I could Google it, but I don't know. And from what I can tell here by the details of this, there was quite a bit of compromised data out there from with this address, with my work addresses is out there. And look, the reason I'm telling you this is not to scare you. It is probably to get you to go check it out because it is free, right? Even go have a look at Have I Been Pwned. Search your friends, search your family, search your personal stuff. I'm definitely not going to search my personal stuff on a recorded thing, but you understand where I'm going with this. And you can see what's going out there. And there's a little blurb on this, a link to their LinkedIn profile. Everybody, give me a 9 in chat if you've ever had a conversation with someone around security in some way, usually personal, and they go, God, how'd they get my phone number? Right? Like this. Your numbers are out there, everybody. Your address is out there. Your phone numbers are out there. Your genealogy is probably out there. So mother's maiden name's out there. I bet, give me a 10 if you know, and it doesn't have to be you, know someone who's had their social security compromised, social security number compromised. Doesn't it surprise you that like the thing we use to do identity in America literally right now is a number that you're assigned at birth, and the challenge of like changing that if something weird happens? Um, yeah. So when somebody asks me how they get my information, how do they know where I work, there's like 900 different ways to figure out where you worked. And by the way, Christopher's got a really good point on this. He just mentioned this in chat. The Social Security Administration specifically said, do not use Social Security numbers for validation, and then everyone ignored them. That's a true statement. That thing did happen. He's right. The reason I'm mentioning this, everybody, is, and I've had to tell several people in my life, and if you are part of the fundamentals training, you'll know pretty much who I'm talking about. The fact that somebody knows your phone number and name is not a good enough reason to tell them things. Somebody calls me and says, hey, your name's Steve, you live at this place, you work for Endsight. I go, that's okay. Why are you scamming me, right? Nobody starts a phone call like that, but it's a very common scam tactic. So the point of this is to say, your information is out there. It's super easily searchable on this database right here. And it's something that people in your life need to understand, that the bad guys have it, and they're really, really good at social engineering. They're really, really charismatic. And they will just simply say, hey, I know who you are. I'm definitely your bank. And they're, not your bank or whomever. Cool. All right, so that's the Have I Been Pwned demo, and I will do my best to have demos as often as I can. There's not all sorts of cool, interesting security stuff like that, but it's something you can give your friends and family. This literally costs you absolutely nothing. So hopefully that's useful to everybody. Now I know the reason you all are here, probably AI, right? Just as a note, we do have a very solid AI department here, and AI is absolutely the forefront of cybersecurity right now. And we're going to go into that in the next couple of slides, but please know that just like any cool new tool, you need guardrails on everything. Give me an 11 in chat if you wouldn't just randomly get a table saw and give it to just whoever and let them use it. Okay. You understand the analogy I'm making here, and I am attempting to keep you awake with participation. But the point of this is, look, y'all, just slap an AI on something is maybe not the best approach. And I know that cybersecurity, listen, there are some parts of it that are sexy, and it's like, me dressed as Neo hacking the Matrix, which I wish was the case, but it's really just paperwork and meetings. Here's a couple of good examples of what AI can do and why it's bad, right? We're not making a political commentary here on the usage and of AI and the energy that it takes and all the other things. We're just telling you what it looks like in the world. So Anthropic, their product is called Claude, they've effectively declared an inflection point where AI is now both good and bad. We declared that a while ago, Anthropic. Thanks for keeping up. We appreciate that. But it is interesting because Anthropic has started to find and disrupt AI-based attacks, right? And I'm going to go into why AI attacks are so interesting to us. And effectively, for those of you that don't know, cybersecurity is the fastest changing portion of the fastest changing sector, which is IT, in the world. The only thing that comes even remotely close to how quickly cybersecurity evolves is medicine. The reason is there's a ton of money in both, right? Cybersecurity, ever since Bitcoin happened, and if you're in the fundamentals training, we talk about this quite a bit. Ever since Bitcoin was invented, criminals can now be paid in untraceable, non-regulated, non-governmental backed currency that actually can translate into their own local dollars. So it allows them to fuel a pace of innovation and change we've never seen before. Give me a 12 in chat if you know someone that's ever had to pay a ransom, either professionally or personally. Right, good deal. I know more than I'd like. That's directly funding terrorism. I don't want to sugarcoat that. That's where this money goes, right? All the energy and time we spend. We think in 2025 the numbers aren't out yet, and Verizon will tell us. Verizon has a report on this. They do every year. We think it's about $10.5 trillion, which is, if it's a country, it's the third largest country in the world by GDP. So this is the newest evolution, everybody, and this is why we do these type of presentations. It's going to change again. And if you're an Endsight client and I come to you every year and say, well, it changed, I have to do something different, stuff like this is why. Anthropic is starting to find AI attacks. Here's how it works vaguely and generally. You use AI to create the code. Give me a 13 in chat if you've heard the term vibe coding before. Vibe code viruses? I mean, if you're real good at breaking, so we call this jailbreaking. Oh, give me a 14 if you've heard the term jailbreaking before. I am trying to keep you awake. So basically, there's guardrails on lots of things. That's why I use the term table saw, because they literally have those. And if you can find a way to break out of those guardrails, you can get the AI to do things like create code. So in this case, they found the AI is used to create the code. This happens to be a cloud AI, but I'm 100% certain you could use a local AI to do this too if you had enough computing power and technical knowledge. Then the AI agents just kind of attempt the cyber attacks, and they execute the payloads, and they go on, and all the humans have to do is review, right? What does this mean? Why is this interesting to us? Well, the first thing is iteration, right? AI is not good at everything, and it will never be good at everything. In fact, most of us would agree it's not particularly great at most things yet, but it's getting better, right? It's miles better than it was. And it's only going to get better as the AI companies literally suck up all the computer hardware for years. OpenAI, just in case you just fun trivia, OpenAI has a open contract to buy basically most of the world's RAM, like computer memory, for the next year. OpenAI is literally not making money. They don't have money. So I'm wondering how they're doing this, but they've done this. They're just sucking this up. They're just going to continue to get better and better. So what they can do here is revise code faster as we get closer to artificial general intelligence, AGI, and closer to just better iteration. You're going to get AIs that can code themselves, right? And OpenAI is already attempting to use itself to code itself, which is really interesting. And there's also a decent amount of examples of big hardware companies like Intel and NVIDIA, and I'm not even going to ask if you've heard of those people because one of them is the most valuable company in the world right now. They are using AI to write drivers for their hardware. There have been some quality changes, negatively, but that won't always be the case. So this code gets revised more quickly, right? The second thing we're worried about is stronger and faster attacks, right? Give me a 15 and date yourself with me if you've seen the original Jurassic Park. Let's go. I got one. There we go. Okay. Now, you remember the scene where the Velociraptor tests the fence, but doesn't test the same part of the fence every time, and it learns? Yes. Demila gave me an 11 with the 15. Appreciate that. AI is really good at that, right? It's really hard to test all of the holes if you're a human. It's a lot easier if you're an automated machine, right? So give me a 16 in chat if you've heard of the term security through obscurity. We're getting a couple. All right. Thank you. Effective, that means you didn't know you could do that. AI does not have that limitation. It's just going to try everything. So when we do things like for our organization and our clients, when we scan external IP addresses and we're looking for vulnerabilities, we're trying to patch things, it's because AI is going to find them better than humans can do it. There are some things AI does a lot better than humans. Pattern recognition is one of them. Makes the attacks stronger and makes the attacks faster. You can hit everything at once, right? Give me a 17 in chat if you've heard of a DDoS attack, distributed denial of service. So for those of you that have not, a DDoS attack, thank you for the participation, all the usual IT suspects, fellow nerds. A distributed denial of service attack is where I just simply overwhelm your computer or server or data center with requests so you can't respond to your customers. Right? In this case, I can overload your security systems by testing everything at once, leading to what we call a race condition, meaning I hope, as the bad guy, that my attack gets in before your good software comes and stops it because it's too busy dealing with other things. That's something we're considering right now because you can just overwhelm with computing power, which we think is, scary. There's a link on this article I'm going to put up. in a sec, or that we're going to talk about in a second. It's on the next slide too, so you don't need to worry about it. But if you're interested in reading the Anthropic thing, it's going to be both on our landing page. Aaron's going to put it. Thank you, Mr. Krebs. Aaron's going to put it in the chat. There it is, and it'll be on the next slide. So Anthropic in this article wanted to talk about a specific attack that they found that was using Claude. So we're going to talk about it. Here's how it worked. The human operator provides a list of targets. Now, I'm not going to just go into how they get targets. For everybody, please know almost all breaches nowadays are human caused. There are definitely very high resourced, very good attackers, maybe foreign governments, maybe very, very dedicated attacker organizations. I use that term loosely, but they're starting to behave more like them because they're better funded with Bitcoin. There are people out there with the resources to actually, hack. When you're thinking Angelina Jolie in changing the lights on the building and hackers, that kind of stuff. But please, if you don't hear anything else from this conversation, put down your sandwich, look at the other monitor for a second. Humans are the weak link. It is dramatically easier to find human targets than it is to find like holes in computer software that aren't already plugged. We have pretty good protection right now technologically. Either way, the human provides these targets, most likely compromised accounts or software that shouldn't be running that a human installed, et cetera, et cetera. And all they're doing is providing a list that's gathered from somewhere. The AI then scans for those targets for accessibility and analyzes publicly available code or endpoints. Give me an 18 in chat if you know what an API is. So, as always, I'll tell the people that don't. Thank you for the participation. I do appreciate that. Keeps my energy level up. An API is an accessible endpoint where I can make programmatic, so code-based, like actual code, queries, and it'll give me information back. It's another interface into a program. Like what you're used to is like a web page getting you in. There are ways to use scripting and coding and typing to do these things. Sometimes those are available publicly. Sometimes it's a software flaw. Sometimes it's a compromised account. Sometimes it's Team Viewer that you didn't know was installed. And very, very commonly, it's the Internet of Things. If you take nothing else away from this, again, put your sandwich down for 1 second. IoT stands for the Internet of Things. The letter S in IoT stands for security. Yeah? Got it? Okay. So once we have scanned for the publicly accessible code and endpoints, the human reviews the results. Right? Oh, we want these, we don't want these, etc. I want to make a point here about being too small during this human phase. So give me a 19 in chat, please, if you've ever known anyone, or you yourself right now, are too small for the attackers to care about, or you've heard that logic before. Fewer. Okay, appreciate that. So we get this occasionally, everybody, and what we get is, I'm too small. That would presume that the attackers would get into your system, spend a bunch of time analyzing who you are and how big you are and like your market cap, and go, oh, this isn't worth our time. That logic doesn't hold up to scrutiny, because they're just going to figure out how big to ask. We've had a florist get caught for $15,000. That's business ending. We also had a very large firm get caught for like $2.5 million. Less business ending. We're just talking demand size here, everybody. We're not talking whether it's worth their time. Remember, not all these attackers are coming from like San Francisco Bay Area, right? Probably very few of them. Probably not zero. Some of them are coming from countries with a much lower standard of living where a $15,000 payday is maybe several years worth of salary. It's very much worth their time. So in this case, the human reviews the results, determines what's a valid and invalid attack, not whether it's valuable or not to do the attack. And this happened. This is not an attack that's theoretical. This is what happened. Then once the human reviews the results and puts in the correct targets, the AI then scans the targets for said vulnerabilities for the code that they found, anything publicly available, and attempts to automatically exploit them. So what you're looking at here is, instead of a human going, okay, what version of the firewall is this? Oh gosh, give me a 20 in chat if you've heard any of our communications in the last year about getting rid of VPNs. Oh, thanks. Thanks, guys. I was worried about that. So, for example, remote access VPNs, SSL. I'm not talking about like NordVPN or surf easy. I'm talking about like your Cisco AnyConnect to get into your office, or your Sonic Wall, or your Fortinet. Those VPNs have had quite a bit of flaw recently. It's been a rough couple of years for all VPN vendors. Last year was bad for Sonic Wall. The year before was bad for Fortinet. AI can look at these endpoints, determine the version of the VPN that's listening, right? Research on publicly available databases any kind of flaw on that VPN, and immediately try to automatically exploit it in seconds, right? So that's what we're doing here. That's a really salient example of it. It's not the only one, but it's a good one. Okay, this is a open Cisco AnyConnect on version XYZ. It says right here on this website, there are publicly available databases of exploits. They're good guy things that the bad guys use too. You scan automatically, right? So the AI then determines what's exploitable, what succeeded. Human, here's my list. So the human reviews it. And then once you're in, the AI does exploits to perform internal recon and validates data access. And I have italicized internal for a couple of slides from now. So there's your teaser. Stick with me on that. And the AI automatically exfiltrates data. Here's your link again. Point of this. Humans, all they did was provide a list and review results, and then review results again. Didn't have to code anything. Didn't have to tack anything. Didn't have to know about Telnet or SSH or any other cool things we know, maybe cats, all the terms you might have heard of from us hacker type people. They just know, ooh, somebody made this for me. Back in the early 2000s, we used to call these script kiddies. Give me a 21 if you've heard that and you're also dating yourself. A script kiddie is effectively someone who doesn't really know what they're running and doing, but they have a script that does attacky things, and so they go for it. What this does is dramatically lower the barrier to entry to actual technical exploits, right? So you don't need to have someone who's being paid $300,000 a year as a white hat hacker that turned bad, or someone who spent their entire life learning to exploit and code and break into systems. What you're getting now is someone who knows how to run a script that a smarter person wrote for them. That's my concern with AI attacks. And everybody, it's not going to get better. Right? Everything's going to change. AI is going to change productivity. It's going to change cybersecurity. It's hopefully going to democratize things like healthcare across the world. In fact, Satya Nadella of Microsoft said the AI bubble is going to burst, and we are not going to have, I love this term, social permission to gobble up this much electricity unless we make it useful for the real world. Right? We know. Thank you, head of Microsoft. We know, and you're not doing a good job yet of that. But hopefully, in the future, AI will democratize good things, but it also democratizes bad things, right? It's just a tool. So there's kind of the end of the Anthropic attack. I haven't seen any questions, and so if you have them, please send them in. But I'm watching chat too. Moving to our next topic, and this is AI and compromised accounts. So I did lightly promise I would do a demo of what a breach looks like this quarter, but had too many other interesting things to talk about. So if you come next quarter, please note that in my back pocket, if nothing happens in cybersecurity for a whole quarter that's interesting to talk about, now that I'm saying it out loud, that seems unlikely. But if it does, we can tell you what it looks like on the good guy side. Right? It's fun. We can go through that whole thing. So that might be give me a give me a 25 specifically in chat if that's an interesting topic to you, because I've been considering doing that for a while. If you want to see what it looks like on our end, more doing the good guy stuff. I want to see the meat behind the thing. Aaron, if you'll take a look and see how many you think you got of those, it'd be good for me to know. Okay, so let's talk about AI and compromised accounts. So here's how an attack works. Everybody, this is my briefing. I promised you a little bit. Here's a little bit. First thing is recon. You kind of saw that, right? You kind of saw like, oh, what can I see and how can I get in there? And then there's a breach. And then once you're inside, there's more recon, right? Very commonly, an attacker will gain access to something. And maybe this is somebody who's just basically spraying out phishing emails. Give me a 22 in chat if you've gotten a phishing email this month. Yeah, everybody, right? It's so cheap to send phishing emails, everybody. It's so much cheaper to send 700,000 phishing emails than it is to try to break into a firewall, right? It's way easier. But once somebody falls for that and gives you their credentials, you get in and you need to find out who the heck you are, what you have access to, and if it's valuable. It may be a honeypot, meaning a trap set by good guys to get the bad guys, or maybe the friggin' CFO of a Fortune 500 company. So you have to do the recon to find out who you are. Once you do the recon, you can do the payload, and that's the exfiltration. Or, oh, give me a 23 in chat. If you've gotten an email from someone else who goes, "Oh my gosh, I was hacked," don't open that last email that I sent you. Yeah, it have a weird like reputational thing. Like it kind of makes you go, "Huh, how come you're not taking care of yourself?" Anyway, so there you go. There's how an attack works, everybody. But I know y'all will know AI. And we're talking about AI. How does AI happen here? On speed. Okay. No, we're actually working on a short video on this, and when it comes out, I'll make sure everybody sees it. We'll put it up on YouTube and on our website. Think about this with me for a second for a thought experiment. All right. Put yourself in the place of the bad guys. You compromise an account. You don't know who it is. You don't know what they can access, but you're in their 365 account to make it very, very generic and also super common. You're in somebody's 365 account. Now you got to figure out who they are and what they have access to, and you got to search. And of course, you can make dedicated commands and query, but two things about searching and reconnaissance. One, it kind of takes a while, right? It takes a little bit of time, and two, it's noisy. If you're searching for stuff and looking through emails and looking through files, you're getting all that stuff's logged, right? Or it should be if you're one of Endsight's clients, especially if you're one of our managed security clients. We're definitely watching the logs. It's noisy. Now, there's an interesting fact about Microsoft specifically. Microsoft only reports their log data once an hour. There are no third-party vendors, not even our SOC, that can deal with this. So the maximum time before a bad guy could, get in and we would know about it is an hour. Right? Maybe you get lucky. Maybe you hit it 2 minutes before the reporting period, but there's a decent potential for dwell time in here. That recon could take some dwell time, right? Maybe you don't necessarily get the information before our SOC sees it and locks you out. That's what we're hoping. Now, change the scenario slightly. You break into this account, you find out they have Microsoft Copilot, which is AI, or ChatGPT. And you have a query that you have crafted yourself, just like all the other ones, but it's specifically for the AI that's already built this index. And you go, tell me everything I have access to, zip it up, and send it here. You've now taken the research time from days to weeks to seconds to minutes. That is because you had access to AI. Give me a 24 in chat if you currently have corporate AI, Microsoft Copilot, or even ChatGPT or something else plugged into your corporate data, and you're actively using it. Scott, thank you. This is uncommon, but we're seeing it more commonly. I have it, and I know several others that do as well, right? It's not uncommon to have this. But when we tell you, hey, security is really, really important when it comes to AI, this is why, right? You got to have your training up to date. You got to have your technical policies up to date. You got to have your detection up to date. And even more concerning in this case is, so maybe we get lucky and it's not like the big CFO that gets breached. Maybe it's some line staff. Everybody give me a 26 because we have to skip 25. I'm paying attention. Give me 26 if ever in your career you or anyone you know has had access to something they shouldn't and they just found out about that one day. Didn't know that. All right, now everybody who's watching chat, I want you to see what I see here. It lit up immediately. Now you have AI, and oops, we didn't realize that line architect had access to finance, but Copilot knew, and it took it all immediately. This happens more commonly than you'd think. It's why AI and security go together very closely. It's why we recommend security before we do AI. I'm not saying AI is good or bad. I'm saying it's a very effective tool and only going to get better, but it does maybe enhance some security challenges. Know what I mean? Okay. Let's talk about Teams or Slack, or maybe even this meeting. So we are seeing a new attack, or a new vector, I should say. And this is one of those times where I come to you and I say, hey, it changed. We're doing something different. And give me a 27 in chat if at the very, very top you saw Joseph Rogers join with Fireflies.ai. And I am not picking on Joe Rowe. He's an awesome account manager and a very valuable member of our team. But he did demonstrate something fabulously for me. Cool. Give me a 28 in chat if you've ever joined a Teams or a Slack call and it said, hey, this person's blank is taking notes or recording or doing this. Make sure you know that this thing is happening and we're recording this or taking notes. And there we go. Lots of those, right? Seems like a vector for something odd. Now, in Joseph's case, I know fireflies. I know they're not bad, right? They do a pretty good job of being very corporate, but I don't know everything. I couldn't tell you much about Otter.ai, but I'm sure somebody in the chat's seen Otter.ai show up. So what we are considering at Endsight is writing standards and software to limit the amount of different applications that could come into, say, Teams calls in this case. We're scoping that there. Now, there are several potential approaches of this, and there's lots of things you can do, right? We could say, look, only Microsoft stuff. Only stuff written by Microsoft, because look, I'm not going to be able to limit Copilot out of Teams. People need that. Or give me a 29 in chat if you've ever used like the Teams transcription or the facilitator in a Teams call, and give me a 30 in chat if you found that useful to have notes from a call that give you stats and tasks and stuff. Me too, right? So we can't just say nothing. Right, so here's an option, and these are things that are currently exposed in the Teams interface. So if you're a Slack user or something else, we're working on that. We can do that. We could say only Microsoft products if you have a written process to approve a third party. Now, in our case, process matters a lot. So I know some of us are SOC 2 compliant or ISO 27001, CMMC frameworks. And what we're looking for is, as long as you have and respect your process and review things, you still generally fall under compliance with that. So we could do that. There are some people that I know in this chat that are very much on my side and very voracious, and we have some at Endsight as well who I love them very much, but maybe go a little far, and you could just say no applications. You get nothing. Might be a challenge. Those Teams notes are pretty cool, right? And there's some stuff that's useful, but it's an option. I have a couple of high security accounts out there that are might need something like this. Or you can always do what we're currently all doing and go, everything. Right? Absolutely everything. While we're all in here, everybody, and Angela, I'm talking to you, but others as well. Give me a 31 if you're in law in this chat right now, and you're in legal somehow. Hi, Angela. Hi, Paul. A couple others, I'm sure, but they're asleep. If you are in legal, this can cause a loss of attorney-client privilege. Because if you're, for example, using something that just transcribes to AWS, which is really, really common, that's Amazon's software as a service stuff, they will cooperate with law enforcement. They have made that clear very many times. Your information is subpoenaable, and there is an entire article on that. And this will be on our landing page for this, or Aaron's just super on it. Thank you, Aaron. And there it is. Isn't that interesting? So we're still working on this and what it means and what we're going to do about it, but something we're considering for now. Just kind of wanted to give you all a preview of what's on my mind at the moment, because this is something that you can see as a new vector coming up, right? So to kind of put a bow on that one, these are why security comes to you all the time. And I know we're expensive, y'all. I do. And I know why it's always painful to talk to people like me who are narcissistic and love the sound of their own voice. Also security professionals. But it does really change all the time. And we have to keep up. My entire job is meetings, flapping my mouth hole, and keeping up with the bad guys. So summary for topics today, because we got some QA to go in here. And this summary not written by AI. Actually wrote this. Human, like if you're a Matrix fan, genuine child of Zion. So have they been pwned and the dark web? They exist. You can totally search for yourself. If you didn't catch last recording on Shodan.io, we did that last quarter. That's how you can look for your devices. This is how you look for your people, right? So check it out. You can do the dark web stuff. Second of all, AI attacking, right? I know that you have the amount of people that have the ability to jailbreak Claude or ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini, not very high. But it's going to keep coming, and it's always going to. This is just another bad guy, good guy race, right? Bad guy's trying to break the AI, jailbreak it. Good guy's trying to secure the AI. And listen, if anybody here thinks Sam Altman and OpenAI have your personal data and security like forefront of their mind, and it's not raising more capital, I got a bridge to sell you. They have told us they're going to do ads in OpenAI, and they're never going to sell your data to advertisers. Okay. And the last thing we're worried about is kind of the vector of apps and AI in calls, right? So just to kind of put a bow on all this, there are 3 parts of cybersecurity, everybody, just so you know, and it's people, it's process, and it's technology, right? In this case, we're not really particularly talking about process. This is one of the few where it's not all free. This is people for the training and to maybe not put classified information into ChatGPT. You can go ahead and Google that because I don't want to start a political discussion on this call, but somebody did just put classified information into ChatGPT, and the always required stuff that's technology, keeping your AI safe, right? These are what we would call defense in depth, right? This is your house. If you think that just putting a fence on your house keeps you safe, we're not talking the same language here. Just like I got an antivirus, I'm safe. No, right? Now, although not everybody's going to have everything like that here, my goal when it comes to cybersecurity is to get the bad guys to try to knock on your door and just move on. I'm not trying to prevent the Chinese APT-1 hacking team from getting into your systems. That is a real thing. Government-funded attackers. People always ask, like, what do we do about this? How protected are we? And the truth is, most people, especially business leaders, overestimate their cybersecurity because nobody showed them how to measure it. You've not had clear KPIs. You've not been told what true cybersecurity looks like, which is why we do these things. Listen, I'm certain there are non-Endsight clients in this call. And by the way, welcome and thank you for taking your time with us. But if you're concerned about security, we actually built a tool for it. It's going to be on the list. There's a link right there. We're going to do all sorts of great stuff like this. You can actually take a questionnaire. It comes straight to my inbox, and I will spend some time with you saying, hey, I think you're ready. I think you're not. Everybody mostly shows up as phase 2, aware. And they say, oh, we've got some security, and we know stuff about it. It's not really good enough. Now, for those of you that think security is expensive, first of all, yes, you're right. But we actually have 5 clients off the top of my head that I can think of that use security in their sales process. They go, hey, we actually take your data security really seriously. Here's our certifications, or here's the information that our program. It also reduces cyber insurance rates. There's actually a decent amount of financial benefits to this. So if you want to take this, please be my guest. I will have a meeting with you. It won't cost you a dang thing. We can talk about how safe you are and what I think we can do to help, or what someone else can do to help. I'm not on the sales team. It's awesome. All right, I'm gonna lift that up long enough. Everybody's seen it. I did the thing. Christopher says, if you think security is expensive, try pricing out a breach. I like that line. Next session, everybody, before we're getting to Q&A. It's going to be April 30th at 1 p.m. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about because stuff changes in the quarter. But we'll tell you a couple of weeks beforehand to kind of what I do, everybody. And please, if you're connected with me on LinkedIn or on Teams or via email, I love it when you send me security topics. I usually pull them from things people have sent me. So that's good stuff. Cassie, no worries. We're almost done. We got some questions here, so you're welcome. We also have AI office hours in case you're interested in that. Same type of format, just for AI, stuff about that. And we're going to get to the Q&A now because I have 10 minutes left. Oh, Angela, of course. Thank you. Let's talk about some Q&A, everybody. These were pre-submitted questions. We did plus them up a little bit because some of them had no capitalization and we're missing like articles and prepositions and stuff. Aaron, if you have the ability to pop up the AI sign up, that'd be cool. But for those of you that want to join the AI office hours, give us a 30 in chat right now and we'll just get you signed up. Just give us a 30 right now. We'll get you signed up for the AI office hours too. Now that's with the development team. Michelle Brzezinski runs that team. She's my work wife. Don't ever tell my HR that I said that, please, or I won't be able to give these presentations anymore. And if you go, please, for me, tell her how incredibly terrible that brilliant, brilliant woman is. We have a rivalry, and she should know that she is awful, except for she's actually very much not. Okay, so here's your Q&A. And if you have any more, send them in chat, send them in Q&A. I'll answer them here too. I'll stay as long as you need. What advice do you have for managing third-party SaaS providers for AI use, either in products purchased or internally that can impact confidential data? So one of the things we do as a part of our managed security offering for our clients is vendor analysis, right? We say, I did one yesterday. We say, hey, is it worth having this vendor? How's their security posture? Do they have any history of breaches? Anything like that. So what I would say is the first thing you want to have is a vendor analysis process, whether that's going to your IT team, or us, or someone else in your company that's involved in compliance, at least when you bring in a vendor, somebody should have taken a look at it. Even if it's a quick Google, that process existing will reduce your insurance rates and reduce your liability because it exists. Furthermore, for specifically AI, I would actually email an account rep and say, give me all your AI policies, show me all your third-party providers that use AI, where's my data processed, and where's it going to go? The analysis I did yesterday found out that data was being processed in not America, and that was not compatible with the client. So just like anything else, just like any other tool, what are you using to process my data? How do you validate the output from AI, right? That's the AI specific portion is, do you validate AI or do you just trust that the LLM is just going to crush it? Next, how can organizations protect customer records in CRM connected applications such as Commerce 7, I would also say Salesforce, checkout portals, and collect credit card information from bad actors posing legitimate customers and placing fraudulent orders? A faster way to say this is, how do I prevent credit card scamming if I'm not the one processing the credit cards? I left this here knowing I was going to get to this point. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. If Commerce 7, if you're a winery and Commerce 7 gives you an order with a fraudulent credit card and you ship it and Commerce 7 literally finds out that it was a bad credit card number, you guys, I don't have an answer for making sure third-party payment providers and processors validate credit card information. This is one of those things to ask them. Everyone's going to be different, but this is a pretty big deal, right? I'm sure. Give me a 31 in chat if anybody's ever had your credit card used for a fraudulent purchase or had anything related to that, where like, you know, a box showed up at your account that wasn't, or your door that wasn't there, or something happened to your business, right? Yeah, it happens to everybody. I don't know. I hope Visa and MasterCard and Amex and Discover figure that out. No idea. What ongoing steps should organizations take on a yearly and monthly basis to keep unauthorized users out of their systems? This is a good one too. Sorry, I'm going a little faster. I'm close to time. Annual review and annual training is really important, right? It is, again, net positive impact on insurance rates very, very significantly, but also it's just good cybersecurity hygiene. And it's something you can use as sales. You can tell your clients, we test this stuff all the time. The truth is, having a review of whose job it is to do what, whose responsibility it is to do what, where the data lies, who's processing the data, the chain of custody of the data, and regularly testing your training. Give me a 32 in chat if you are part of Endsight's specific phishing testing and training program where we send you fake phishing emails. Thank you, James. Lots of others. Good deal. Appreciate that. That's a really good thing. Having somebody just check and every so often keep track that you're actually doing something is hugely, hugely important. That's a really, really big one. Okay. Next one. Is MS Teams chat being used in place of email for targeted phishing? Yes. What can my organization do to lock down Teams? There's some decent stuff, but the truth is, and this is really important, everybody, if I access your Microsoft 365 account, I got your Teams too, and all your documents, and your SharePoint, and your Outlook. It's not just your email that gets compromised. It's everything. So what you can really do are the general cybersecurity hygiene things. Have a security operations center watching. Train your people. Write your policies. Do an annual risk analysis with those things. Do an annual tabletop exercise where you try to target somebody with phishing. Try to get people to click on fake emails. Humans are the weak link. If I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but humans really are the weakest link, and it's what we're really targeting the most. The truth is, always use a second factor. You've been to our, give me a 33 if you've been to our fundamentals training and you're still here and awake. Because we talk a lot there about using multi-channel verification, meaning if somebody asks you for something, use a different medium to verify it. What this really means is, please pick up the phone and call. If somebody fishes and says, oh my gosh, please change my ACH account number, you should call them on a known good number. Or if they ask for anything odd, even as just as a point of note, if it's an email, if it's in Teams, if it's anything, you should always verify. Trust but verify is our ethos in security. So that is, if you don't have a policy for multiple types of verification on sensitive data transactions, you should, and we will help you write it. Actually, we will give it away to you for free. Give me a 34 in chat if you would like our template for 2 different forms of verification for sensitive transactions, and we will get it sent over to you. So give me a 34, and I will have Aaron, if you'll collect those and everybody's email address. It's yours. It's free. Only got 3 more, I think. I've seen news about people cloning AI voices perfectly. If somebody asks me for a wire transfer, how am I supposed to know it's fake? Does Endsight have protocols to spot deepfakes? We do not have protocols to spot deepfakes. I wish I did, but I don't. Give me a 35 in chat if you're familiar with the $20 million wire transfer with the deepfake phone call that happened last year. Got a couple. Some of my nerdy brethren. I'm with you on that. The deal is everybody, somebody from an accounting part of a firm got into a call with what they thought was like very high level executives. They all discussed on the call and said, okay, we need to transfer $20 million to this account. And they did it. The whole call was fake. Bad guys made away with $20 million. That's an edge case. Doesn't happen all that commonly anymore. But the truth is, what I just said matters a ton. Nobody would just take a call and somebody was like, I'm from Chase Bank, give me your passwords. And you wouldn't just give them the password. Thank you, Brian. Just pick up the phone and ask. Call a known good number. I get this all the time. We talk about this in our fundamentals training. Just call a known good number. 2 more. Sounds like the Prince of Nigeria emails are being replaced by hyper-personalized AI messages that know everything about us. Yes. How do we protect ourselves as email phishing evolves? You don't trust email ever. Basically, right? Email is always something I would always take a second look at, especially if they're trying to get you any money. Listen, the most powerful motivator in the world is greed. Everybody thinks that they're going to get something for free or they're going to get stock tips or give me a 36 in chat if you know anyone that thought they were talking to Elon Musk or Keanu Reeves or something like that, and it turned out the whole thing was a scam. Right? This is a really, really, really common thing because people think they're going to get rich for free and quick. If somebody would be so kind, I'm going to ask Christopher, if you tell everyone reddit.com/r/scams, if you put that in chat for me, I'd appreciate you, man. There's a whole place where scams like this exist, right? And it's just everything's a scam. If it sounds too good to be true, it 100% totally is too good to be true. So the Prince of Nigeria emails always kind of hinged on that specific thing. Right, I'll get that type in here. There's your Reddit link if you want to delve into the deep world of people getting scammed and Prince of Nigeria emails. Just tell your people, especially elders, nobody's giving you money. You're not in a romance with a celebrity. You're not dating a person who works on an oil rig. It's a scam. And the last one, which is kind of fun. This might be a few years out, but I hear about quantum computing breaking all current security encryption. Yes. Is that something we need to worry about now? No. Quantum computing is coming, and it will radically change encryption and security because of the nature of quantum computing, but it's a very difficult challenge. It requires really, really smart people to program it, and it's not here yet. It will be, and we'll change it with it, and we'll tell you what's going on. So with that, I'll be here. You'll be here for this. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate you all the participation. I appreciate you staying the whole hour for those of you that did, and I hope this was engaging and entertaining for you. And I thank you for taking your time. I'm going to stay here for around if you have any other questions. But there we go. We got some good signups and stuff. I see all your thank yous. Thank you guys. I couldn't do this without the participation and the fun. It keeps my energy level high. So I appreciate you all very much. You are released. And if you don't leave, I know you're sleeping eating a sandwich. And you're welcome for your lunch break. I'm looking for questions too. So if you have any more and you're sticking around, let me know. Luis, did I catch you? That was I hope you guys all liked that one. I enjoyed the Have I Been Pwned demo quite a bit, and I enjoyed the all the work on AI. So it's pretty interesting stuff. Stay another 2-3 minutes. I got 19 people who are just completely asleep at their keyboard. Demelia, I thought you'd be awake. Come on, really? You fall asleep on me? That was fun. All right. Another minute. Stick around with anybody. If anybody has any questions, you want to send them privately to me. Change it from to everyone to hosts and panelists, and I'll be the only one that sees it. Almost done. Thanks for staying, Demelia. Appreciate you. I do. All right, y'all. There's your briefing for 26. See you in a couple months. Have a good rest of your day.